Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Happy Friday, my friend.
Thank God it's Friday.
And a happy Friday to you all. Good morning. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on truthfrequencyradio.com, TFRlive.com. We are a little bit short-handed this morning.
Indeed. Uh-oh, I turned my mic way over there. Hi. Oh, I can hear myself, and you, and me, and them. There was one. Who is this?
Your what?
Frank caller. Good morning, all. Or I guess good morning, you and all. But, we are down one. And I haven't spoken to Zack since our Wednesday outing. So I have no clue what excuse he'll have. It wasn't my fault. I can say that. I didn't keep him up gaming at all. In fact, I didn't even turn a game on yesterday.
Wow.
Which is a rare occasion lately for me.
You've had new toys to play with, too.
I did, but that wasn't it either. Really and truly, it was completely not even any of that. Just me doing things that needed doing, reaching out to some people, verifying tomorrow's event for me, which will be an appearance over there on High Magic with James True and Company. It is going to be 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the right coast. Work out the math for that left coast. But yeah, hanging out, haven't talked to James in way too long. And he'd reached out there on Twitter, which is where we connected, and has a new setup, like a new way to basically you book yourself kind of on his new little setup. I'm going to get you on that so we can have more guests easily taken care of than our back burner asses ever get done. If they're booking themselves, I don't see, we have no excuse at that fucking point. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, get that going. So
that was the idea between the Google calendars.
Right. The Google calendar would definitely have been worked out if it had been a little more automated than it was, I think. And this one is. This literally mails somebody here, go plot yourself in. So with no interaction from us. Anyway, we're getting way too technical on stuff that isn't their issue. So good morning to you all. Hope you're doing good. I haven't typed yet in chat, and being that it's just Josh and I, it might be difficult to do that today. So what I'm going to do is the rare roll call. Hold on. Coffee needed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll head on over there too. I've not even opened up the chat. I've still been trying to pull the captions and stuff down.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning.
And you know what? What I'm going to do is today, just for shites and giggles, I will make sure I can do this because I'm talking trash like I know I can. I did it. Yes, I went straight to Rock Band without a click. I figured out a way to do that without having to search for us and all those things that tend to have to be part of it. So I'm going to do a roll call over there on. And I'm going to hear myself talking to it.
Yeah, better mute that shit up. Big shout out to both of us on Rockfin.
Shout out to Josh. I see you
Walt.
there on Rockfin. Good to see you, brother. Love you. Thank you for being there. You rock, brother. The support and the love. And we're such idiots that we don't know how to do Rockfin. I don't know what our problem is. It's just idiocy, I guess. We're going to do a special. I'm going to make it happen. If it is nothing but me jamming out on my guitar and making all the copyright strikes I want in the world, You know, I say that like I can do that. I'm not that guitarist. I'm just a nut job when I play guitar. But anyway, let's go back and see who's hanging out with us over there on YouTubers. I see Ian got there first, and he gets it. He didn't even have to type it. He gets it first. And then on the plane is there. Good morning, Liz, the Iron Maiden. Or should I say Elizabeth? How are you? Good morning, lady. Alexander Lightwater. Good morning, good buddy. We got on the plane. I said that one already. Darren Daz Cox himself. Yo, yo, he says. Clandestine Monk. Well, good morning, Monk. Lang may your lums reek. Okay, don't know that one. Trying. AZ, good morning. Glad to have you here as well. Martin Haley has arrived precisely when he intended, I would guess. I saw is this a dating stream? I see Travis, the plain truth himself, Finley over there. Dude, we're going to connect. I know it sounds like I brushed you off. I didn't ghost you, I promise. We're going to do it. So get together with me. It won't be today. Today I've got quite a full calendar. But this weekend possibly. Let's see who else. Yes, Liz, I believe that would be on James True's channel where I will be appearing. I will make sure and double and triple check that between now and either tonight or end of this show if I can do that. But I can't imagine it would be anywhere else. Just has a different title, I believe now. It's just called High Magic. I got Darren. I got Ona. I'm still flipping. There's David M. Speaking of guesticle, and he's going to be here this afternoon. Who else? Man, I'm having trouble. My scroller keeps going back up. Oh, because I got it on the wrong kind of chatting. Let's do live chat. I like it better that way. All right, that's good for now. When I see other folks pop in, I will say hello to you. David and I need to connect after the show, most likely, so that we can get some details worked out for what he's going to be talking about this afternoon with us. So reach out to me there on Skype, brother, after. We'll make it happen. So how was your rest of your week, Josh?
Mine's been quiet. There we go. Mine's been a little quiet. Not a whole lot going on. Just staying busy at work, making sure Bunny doesn't get too excited.
How's Bunny's recovery?
Going beautifully. She's happier than is good for her. She should be taking it easier, and she likes to jump and bounce and binky and run around and zoomy and go after the dogs and get into stuff and see stuff. So it's hard to keep her still.
Right on. I noticed the trick here seems to be if I'm going to feed. I'm sorry, go.
I said Robitussin?
Well, yeah. If I'm going to do the wet food, if it's the wet food day or night or whatever, which I do that a few times a week just to kind of offset the fact that, you know, cats are supposed to be eating a wet environment. And anyway, when I do that, that is when the zoomings become like nothing else, dude. They go nuts, especially the boy. Spot loses his mind after a meal of yummy canned goodness, and he is just flying around the place. So
shout out there to Rich Spillman. I just want to say Rich Spillman hopped in, proud to be wrenchless. Probably one of the very few you'll see wandering around the chats here on IRM that's wrenchless.
Right, we like to overpower people when they come into our chat the first time when they see all those wrenches. We don't want them to.
That's right. No intimidation factor here.
Right, no, we don't want that. But good to see you, Rich.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out this early AM or late PM, depending on where you are.
Which of those coasticles you're on?
Guesticles and coasticals, huh?
Man, what's going on?
Sensing a theme here, Walter.
I don't know. I woke up full of something. Good Lord. Yeah, so I'm just going to multitask here while I'm talking because I'm not good at it. And I'm just going to see if I can get it done. Allison Briscoe. Oh, what's up, Allie? Tomorrow. That's cool. You're going early? I'm confused. Oh, you're just coming down this way. I got you. I guess that's what that meant. Not that you're going through and you want to pick me up to go to the Carolinas. So good to see you, Allie. You're very missed. I'm not close to Alabama, really, at all, in any way, shape, or form. I'm 2 states over. So I would not like to. I mean, I would like to see you, but I don't. I would like.
Easy
I
for
would
you
not
to
like
say.
to make that trip. How about that? My mouth is outrunning my face. I'm actually needing to make a trip much closer than that and having a lot of trouble with it. So between a car that is less than roadworthy and well, it's roadworthy essence. It's just the length of the trip I'm looking at doing is a factor. So yeah, me going there. Oh, you're coming. I got it. See, if you clarify any of those words you want to use, things, then I understand better. So you're coming from Texas, going across over to Alabama. Well, along the way, if you feel that there's some reason you want to get lost in a little tiny backwater town, definitely hit us up. If nothing else, if you go close to I-10, is that your route going through? Then are we going to be? No, that's tomorrow. No, actually, that's Sunday. We're going to be in Lafayette. Sunday, we're supposed to go to Lafayette. Or maybe Saturday. Shit, I don't remember. No, it can't be Saturday. It's Sunday. Never mind. Jeremy made it to the chat. Good morning, Jeremy. I hope things have been going better for you, my friend. I've been sending lots of positivity. Lots of good vibes. Lots of good vibes. All right, now you talk, Josh.
So I did get my first ounce trimmed up last night.
Oh.
It was a slow fucking process, but it was a little larfier, a little lighter, a little more airy than I thought it was going to be. Looking at it there when I chopped her. But that was a 9-day dry, which is pretty good. Probably even still could have gone a little bit longer. I probably could have gotten probably a full 2 weeks if I'd wanted to, I think. But other gal's ready to come down. I think I'm seeing some amber, and I don't want to let her get too overripe.
Right. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, speaking of.
I am indoor, David. Indoor.
Outdoor Hawk has arrived. Good morning, afternoon, evening for you, David Banner.
And it's the weird Bubba Stink Bug crossed with something. So I just call it Thunder Stink Chicken is what I call it.
Thunder Stink Chicken. I like that shit.
Yeah, I'm going to have me a couple jars. From what I still have compared to what I've trimmed up, I'd say I'm going to have at least 3 or 4 ounces of Thunder Stink Chicken. So looking forward to that. Then that other one, that random bag seed that I just happened to pop. Got some massive buds on her. I don't know. I bet you I get more than probably closer to get 5 or 6, I think, from the looks of it off that one plant. So I'm excited.
So is it, man, never mind. I don't know enough and I'm not growing, so. Okay. So in my little teenage post, 20s, whatever, when I played around in the closet with sad little Walmart fluorescent grow lights, I assumed that was why I had spindly, airy, just useless, basically, results. So, but the genetics do have something to do with it, obviously, from what you just told us.
It could have been a lot of the same reasons mine was a little airy, that yours were a little airy, if it just wasn't getting quite enough light. Although I don't know how I could give it any more.
Right.
She was pretty well maxed out, but genetics do play a big role in it. Some might not get that dense. And then all the other conditions that might affect it. I mean, pH, soil, newts, how you fed it, how you grew it, how you watered it, how your lighting schedule was. It's all sorts of good stuff. But when it gets long and spindly like that, it usually means it's looking for more light. It's trying to find more light. So it's stretching and reaching, trying to get closer to it to get absorb more light. And then if it's area like that, same reason, just not getting enough light in that area to pack on those hairs and calyxes.
Cool, dude.
But yep, lighting's come a long fucking way. I mean, yeah, they did have the little cheap ones you could get at Walmart that never really did a whole lot. But like the high pressure sodiums and stuff it could just get expensive trying to power the lighting.
That was basically the route that I didn't ever see me doing because it was simply just a hobby. Tomanoid 2 hit the chat. Good morning, Tomanoid. Snails, okay, I have a solution possibly. Snails coming for your little ones. I know for me, one of the most horrifying, soul-crushing, see what I did there, things for me is to go outside and stand on my back porch, hear crunch, and know I've just ended a snail's life. I hate that. I hate it. It kills me. And so I found out from a gardening person that if you sprinkle coffee grounds around the outer area of your bed, they won't cross those grounds. Now, I know from what we've spoken to Zach, and you probably can verify this, you have to be careful with coffee and your soil because it can affect the pH and can be problematic, I suppose. So, but I don't think it requires amounts that would cause that much of a change in the soil. It just is basically either I don't know if it's the smell or if it's the sensation of the broken up beans there that causes them to not cross them. But when I do sprinkle it around the outer steps, it keeps them off my back porch for a few months till it all kind of washes away. Martin Haley in chat saying eggshells. So maybe it is the texture, even though they crawl across like everything, basically. So I don't see the texture really being a thing.
You wouldn't think, but it might just be small enough, like the diatomaceous earth that Ian was talking about.
That's another good one. I missed that. Diatomaceous, definitely. Liz saying eggshells didn't work for her in her experience. Maybe they like decaf. Ian asked me there in chat. Maybe that's it, brother.
Yeah, good point. David M says make sure your soil is dry if you're going to use that diatomaceous earth, because I've heard that it doesn't work if it's wet.
Oh no, yeah. Once it packs and cakes together, I could see it being less effective.
Not me.
Baby, please get down. If I seem to be upset with my cat, I am. No, she is just really at that state where it's but everything. And I get it. That's her thing. She's trying to set up the world, but I would just like to figure out a way to keep her from doing it. And she doesn't get on the table for my attention per se. She just gets up here, looks at me, chirps, lets me know she's in a bind. And when I reach out, she is typical cat. She ducks her head and walks away. So she doesn't want the attention. She just wants the attention.
Just doesn't want to not have the attention.
And then it's like I said, headbutt everything in sight. And I mean, she'll headbutt a penny on the frickin' table if it's there. If she sees the penny, she'll literally roll over on it and try to headbutt it. That's how nuts she is right now. Yep, there she is. What'd you say hey to everybody? What'd you say hey? Let them see you be a nut for a second. You a nut? And there she goes.
And she's good. Big shout out to Zach this morning.
We've got it down to copper wire dipped in coffee, eggshells, and diatomaceous earth. I think you got it, Tomanoy. If that doesn't work it out, brother, I don't know what will. Vertec, good morning to you. Sorry, Josh. I know I stepped on you, but I was on a roll. What'd you say?
You were on a roll. I was just going to say a big shout out to Zach. We're not sure where he's hiding, but we do know that they had a bit of weather roll through there, South Carolina. So maybe the power's out.
Really? It turned? I missed that. How did I miss that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it definitely went back out to the Atlantic, gathered more strength, turned back into a hurricane, and came back and hit South Carolina. Ain't that a trip?
Well, damn.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Oh man.
But a big shout out then to everybody there in Florida too, and all the horrific
man,
damage that was done down in Florida. That's horrible.
And I feel like an ass right now that I didn't reach out to Austin like I thought I would and meant to. I apologize. Hope things are okay with you, my friend.
I think they are. Seems like he's been steady streaming, doing Breaking the Chains, running up some other stuffs. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I know I saw him yesterday. I think even he was live.
I feel like an ass now because, man, I know what it's like. I deal with it. But like I said, once everything was okay here, and I knew from what I saw, or at least what I did see, they were saying at one point it was not as much as they thought it would be, and then somebody else said it was, pretty devastating in some areas. So our prayers and love going out, and anybody that, that we can help in any way, reach out. We can get you in contact with people if nothing else.
I heard there were several hundred fatalities.
Yeah, I missed it again. I'm completely been sidetracked over the last few days. I'm redoing like an area of my house. That's where I've been. That's what I've been doing, and like trying to get a place together for plants. Not good plants, just our plants are not working out the way we've got them set up because I can't, it's complicated. The storage room out there had become basically untenable. It was just beyond measure. So it's been a process. And then I'm trying to get a music room set up in here so I can keep my amp here close to the computer. And if anybody's ever seen in this room behind me on the shelf, they should give you an idea what the rest of this room looks like. Oh, I am so sorry. That was rude and gross and horrible. Zach, I'll tell you how messy this room is and has been piled upon. And yeah, so I've been just out of the loop completely. Oh, I'm just gotten lost in chat there.
Me too. I was thinking about David Banner finishing off his grow with HPS over the last 2 or 3 weeks, just to make sure everything gets big and dense. I do like that idea better than running it for fucking 5 months.
What am I saying? Okay, I'm confused.
But that means I'd have to go get a couple HPS. Probably just one HPS, maybe 2.
Right. That's the high pressure sodium light. Mm-hmm. Look at me figuring out stuff. And so any of those like little box grow knobs, those things are just not really effective, or is it just too much upfront cost, or what's up with those?
Which ones?
Like the grow house things. It's kind of all in one. It's lights, it's reflective material. You just kind of put it all inside this tinted like thing and goes to town.
You can go to places like AC Infinity or even Mars Hydro. Most any company even closely related to the cannabis industry will sell basically a DIY box kit. So for like $500 or $600, you'll get the tint, you'll get the light, you'll get ventilation, you
in the air, right? That's
and
key. Right,
probably a couple trellis nets to scrog with, maybe even some pots. I mean, you can get pretty much everything you need to go for say $600 minus soil and beans and a little bit of knowledge. Okay. But it's relatively cheap.
Yeah, it's not horrible up front.
No,
so, I remember the Phototron when it came out back in the day. From what I heard, was a bit of a hit and miss experience for those who actually jumped on board, and I mean early, back at the Penthouse magazine, early on board type situation. And oh man, we're almost at a break. I just realized. I guess we need to shut up.
I forgot all about that break thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that part too.
Perhaps I'll open up.
So I saw something about guitars have claws on one hand and short fingernails on the other. That's usually an acoustical type finger style guitar player that would have that going on. I'm trying to see who said it and I've lost it. Maybe Vertec. So yeah, I don't have that going on. I actually have nicely shortened nails. Well, I used to be a blackjack dealer, so I got into the habit of actually staying manicured for about 5 years straight. After I got out of the casino, I kept it going because women noticed that for some reason. I don't know. All right, well, shut up. That's Walt's dating tip. Where you at, Travis? Manicured nails on a truck driver? Dude, you'll hit all the babes.
Maybe we'll shoot Zachary a text. Again, we don't even know if he's got power, so maybe just a waste of time. Anyway, stick around. We'll see what's coming up on the second half of the first half of the Ironworks right after this.
Number 3 is activity. Activity is what you do. So our lives, first of all, are affected by what we know. Second, our lives are affected by how we feel. Third, our lives are affected by what we do. It is so important to understand this. If you want to influence and help people, here's the key. Success is a doing. You've got to actually do it. Activity is high priority in the life process to try to get maximum benefit out of what we have available. Activity. Now, here's an important question. What is your philosophy about activity? What about hard work? What about long hours? What about full days? If you're doing something, how hard should you go at it? How much time should you put in? Everybody has to develop their philosophy about activity. Let me quote you. Old Testament says, 6 days activity, 1 day rest. That's called philosophy of ratio.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, acid reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
How dare you?
And welcome back.
My sincere apologies to Travis, who I had to mute. He came in middle of the commercial there and couldn't hear the commercial, brother. So try again.
Yeah, you may have to unmute. And I am still set up for a 2-man. Let me set this.
Yeah, I can't unmute you either, my man. So you'll have to unmute yourself. I thought we had that power too, but apparently we don't anymore. He has sent some footage. I'm not sure what it is.
Hello, what ho?
There you are. Much better. Yeah, man. You were like feeding back. Nice. Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
Much better. Yeah, you're quiet now. It's perfect.
I didn't do anything, so I don't know if.
Yeah, I don't know. It may have just been where you were at the moment.
The ether gods floating high amidst clouds blessed us.
So what's going on?
Sounds like it might be creeping back in, but we'll make it.
Yeah, I just figured I'd jump in since your third wheel was missing. So.
Cool deal.
Yep.
What you been up to?
Same.
Since last we spoke.
Just driving, and thinking through some stuff. I don't know what I said last week, but a lot has been moving in my area of research with refraction and mirage. Another Discord member, and he's got a channel. I forgot to do that. I was going to get his channel. It's not too hard to find. He's got a channel called The Missing Curve. His name's Ian, and he's done a lot of interesting investigation in refraction with the meniscus and water, so he came across my channel after he had started thinking about some things with the air and refraction. And so a lot of the stuff that he saw on my channel was just resonating with him. And so he and I have been talking this past week. The reason why I sent you that video was because if you wanted to pull it up and use any, filler time or whatever, I could get you to the right time stamp, and I could have you demonstrate what I'm talking about. But it's stuff that I've seen over the past 4 years, but haven't really thought about it from the perspective that he came at. And one of the things that I've seen in my observations is that, and let me know if I'm breaking up at all, or because I'm going to be going through areas sometimes where in the past I've had issues, but am I coming through okay?
Yes, sir. Sounded good to me.
Can everybody hear the sultry sound of my voice?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But a lot of times, if I'm looking out over the water, I can see different bands in the water, different colored bands of different distances and widths, so to speak. And I've called those aqua bands, right? Because there's strips in the water, aqua bands, whatever. And he started to suggest that could be possibly a lens that the atmosphere, like I've always talked about looking through the medium, right? Mm-hmm. But he started talking about as if the medium is layered by different lenses on top of each other, almost like panes of glass. And when you get out to the part where our eyes focus on a central view in our vision, which would be basically the horizon, that there's almost like an intense meniscus at that point, depending on the conditions of the day. You might have an inferior mirage. You might have, what I call proximate looming, which is a magnification of the foreground lifted up. And then you also might have the opposite, which is an extension of the distance. And I absolutely love this research. I absolutely love it. It's so organic. It's so majestic. It's so kaleidoscopic. It's just amazing.
Man, what we need to do is just plan on having you on a Friday afternoon, make it a plan, and I know it's hard with your schedule, but at some point it's got to be doable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
So we can see all this, because I mean, showing all this on the radio is kind of hard.
Right. Right. Well, I wasn't sure about whether or not YouTube could see it or not. I know
They
TFR,
can-ish,
Yeah.
I
No worries.
let me hang on. Let me
But it's been a really interesting development. It's just really been this past week. And so Ian and I have been almost talking every day, just talking about stuff, and he's just on fire. This guy.
Well, why don't we make that happen then? Is to get you to have him come with you and introduce him to us and everybody else, and make it a thing if you want to.
Yeah,
we'll get it. Yeah, we'll get it to happen for damn sure, man.
He and I could also possibly do a pre-recorded maybe, and then if
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just send it our way, and we'll premiere it on a Friday. Have it going with people in the chat, looking at it, commenting on it. That'll work too.
And I did hear that next summer, Intense Meniscus will be going on tour, so that's exciting.
I have their
whole. Is there really a group called Intense Meniscus?
I don't think so, but by God, there should be.
Is that what? Did I say that word? Intense Meniscus? Is that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because you was talking about all the layers of atmosphere that lay like.
Check this out. Check this out, guys. Anybody listening, get a pint glass, right, and just fill it full of water all the way to the top, so that you've got this meniscus at the top, so that it's you've got a raised surface, and then get your cell phone light and just place it over the top of it and just mess with it. You will create a rainbow at different levels. That's a circular rainbow, right? And then just move that around, and then you can create half the rainbow. You can project it out. And basically, one of the things that Ian was talking about was that I don't even know how to say it because I don't want to butcher it, but it's almost, we talk about the rainbow being an effect of the dome and this, that, and the other, but he's talking about, the fact that there's a lensing effect, so that the sun coming through at that place is actually, creating. So I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. It's I've not looked into the rainbow as much. We used to think that it's, just reflecting off of the water out of your hose that you spray and things like that. But yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But the light coming from the sun, right? The light coming from the sun gets diffused, and that's why we see the prism, right? Because it's breaking the sun down, the light that's coming from the sun, and so then we see the colors. Yeah, I'll just stop.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, that was one of the things that got me into the path of being a, bathtub scientist, whatever, backyard scientist. I guess bathtub scientist means a whole lot different now than it did when I was a kid. But just that idea of this little piece of plastic in the shape of a fucking triangle, and I hold it up, and it turns this sunlight into a fucking rainbow on my wall. How in the fuck does that happen? And that was like one of the main little trips of my, trying to figure that out. I remember this other one I did. Somehow there was a jar of water and milk, and you shine light through it a certain way, and it created a rainbow. I'll have to look that one up. I can't remember the details anymore now.
Yeah.
But that one seems like, that one might be keyed into what you're talking about. The diffusion light through that jar. And let me look it up. Go ahead. Hang on.
And then what he did as well is, then he, one of the other things that he did that was interesting was that, he created almost he created the reflection of the light from his phone on the surface of the water, and then he moved it across as if the sun were traversing the sky. And when it got to the meniscus, it stopped moving. No matter how far away he went, it held there. Just held, even though he was continuing to move his phone farther away from the glass. And, as we look out over the horizon, and there's been a lot of times where I've captured sunsets where the light there stays much, 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 much longer than the image of the sun is there. And I've said it a couple of times in my videos, because the light that comes to your feet at the surface of the water when the sun's at the right angle, right? So
Right.
So I've captured a few sunsets where the sun is moving away, and then out in the distance, that effect happens out in the distance. And so I started to suppose that at that angle and at that distance, that sunlight is reflecting off the surface. But that reflection stayed there for like 2 minutes after the sun was completely gone. Like the sun had set, and that reflection was just sitting there going, "Hey, how's it going? I'm just going to hang out here until the sun's completely too far away to make this reflection." So that's the idea that I'm trying to say that Ian created by showing that in the meniscus, it's holding the light at that angle because it's curved. And so if the curvature of the air out at that distance is what it is, it's going to hold that light, even though the sun's moving farther and farther away.
Right.
It's just been a really interesting discussion. Absolutely fascinating this past week.
So, and I'm digging around. I actually found an experiment with a glass and a flashlight, and it's definitely showing how to make the rainbow happen along the sheet of paper. But man, I know as a kid, I remember there being an aspect where if you added milk to the water and it did something different, it made
I saw a milk in a jar with a flashlight this week, and they were just trying to simulate a sunset.
Right.
A sunset. It didn't have anything to do with rainbows, but they were trying to simulate sun activity with milk and water. But yeah, so one of the other things, that just to finish up a thought that I did with the aqua bands, so that you, in some of my videos, if you watch them and it's over the water, look for these different colored tones in the water as you look out into the distance. Right now, I'm gonna just suggest that those are areas, volumes of energy, perhaps, or lenses that the air is creating, and they ebb and flow. They move forward, they move back, and it changes the entire scene. So the clip that I sent Walt, just in brief, would have been an image of an oil platform in one position, and then over, I think, 3 or 4 minutes in real time, I didn't notice it. It was so slow as molasses in January. And so then when I sped it up, the position, the reason why I noticed it was I finally noticed that the end point of the platform was in a completely different position. So even though I didn't notice the whole slow transition, I saw the end result, and I'm like, what the hell? My camera didn't move. Why is this oil platform in a different position? So then I scrubbed it back, and then I scrubbed it forward and back and forth, and this thing is taking a 30-degree angle from one position to the next. And when it did that, the water came closer to me. And so you could see the bands change, like it was an organic focusing of the air. It was incredible. And I've seen it before, but I just have never looked at it the way that Ian's bringing his contribution. So it's been reinvigorating. I've gone out a couple more times this week and shot the Chesapeake Bay again, and just trying to see what I can see.
That is super interesting. Did you?
And I'm excited too, man. I mean, I love when something reinvigorates and gets you out there doing things again, because it definitely happens where you kind of get into a plateau of like, okay,
yeah, for sure,
I'm kind of here, and like, I'm here. We got enough time. How long into the video you think I need to go forward?
6 minutes.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second, Josh. Can you put me on the screen if I do that?
Might be
Not
5.
yet. I've got to do some. Sure. I'm trying to get to it because I've been multitasking. My God, hang on.
I surely can.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much saturated with the observations. The stuff that needs to happen is going to be more developmental research with field research. That's really the only way this is going to go forward. And,
all right, here we go. And move our square. All right, so I'm at about 5:45, just to lead into it. Is that good enough?
I think so. From what I remember,
should have been focusing on that the whole time.
Hey, turn the volume down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was gonna say you don't want the audio. Okay.
No, because it's got a lot of ambient beach noise, and then I'm talking to myself as I'm filming. But basically, if you get to that point, just get the timestamp, just get the time marker, just slide it up a couple of minutes, and you'll see the platform move from the top position to the lower left. And let me go over to YouTube real quick and see where you're at. Maybe I know there's a delay. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you hold that video for a moment, right? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can clearly see the tone in the water. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right. The water in the foreground is pretty crisp. You can see the birds. You can see the smoothness of the water. And then as you go farther and farther away, the tone of the water, the texture of the water, as you get closer to that platform, the water completely blurs out.
Yeah.
Like there's this filter there.
Right. You can see on the right side of it, there's this weird, like, is that clouds or is that
on the right
something?
side of the frame is a distant island. So what's
above? Oh, I got you.
Yeah. It does look like it could be a cloud bank or whatever, but that's Santa Cruz Island.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Well, you see how it turns right there from that little blue section and it goes immediately to that darker gray section. And okay, in my 2 or 3 times of going out early on trying to figure out the sun and videoing it out on the coastline, I was seeing things, way out further than I was supposed to see it already. And then the sun wasn't whatever. Okay. But when I went back, I had my, I think it was Michelle had a camera that from work, and it was really, pretty good quality, way better than a phone camera. And I was taking photographs that day too, trying to, coalesce or put them together, make it work together like a video. In those pictures, I found 2 different images of this man in a boat, and he was right at that line, that blue line to the gray line. And literally in one picture, the boat is all there, almost, and then the next picture you can barely see his head. And I know it's waves and I know it's whatever, but just seeing it happen should show people that nothing you see visually out there makes any sense of what you think you're seeing. I mean, there's so much going on between here and that platform.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and really, yeah, it's never a one and done, because you almost have to have a control image to compare subsequent observations. But yeah, this is a platform gale off of the coast of California in the Channel Islands.
So that
I saw
even as it scrolls over from that left shot, there's this thing that happens with it. You said that's an island back there?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Oh, on the radio, we're looking at a video.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a video.
See, like right there, that little area of clear whiteness between the water, and that's the island you're saying back there?
On the right, yes.
Well, no, I'm not looking there. I'm in a different section now. I'm in a whole different area. Just looking at.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were sharing on Skype. I was just listening to you. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. If you're scrubbing up and down throughout the whole video, it's share the link because you guys really need to just watch this.
Yeah, we'll try to get a look on it this afternoon too, and because there's so much here. There's so much to unpack.
Oh man, you don't even know. This is. I sent this video to an astrophysicist who's written articles and papers on this very topic, and
see right there that weirdness
he said, yeah, I don't know what's going on in this video. I have no idea. So not even a PhD has really thought through and looked through this. So if you want to go back, I'll just blow your minds, really. I mean, have you scrubbed this up and down from the 6-minute mark to show how the platform moves up and down? Scrub it forward. Look at that. My camera is not moving. You want to even see something even more amazing that I caught the other day doing this again? When you get right to the very moment where the platform is going, and you only notice it if you do it in the zipping up and down. It looks as though the air it takes a breath before it then moves across the screen. It's amazing. It's like breathe in, and here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. I didn't realize. I'm trying to put it all together. It's just a lot going on. All right, let me stop sharing and go back to the. Hang on. What about that? There we go.
Port Colborne. That's what it was. That crazy shrinking.
Yeah, no,
mill.
we need to get him on that.
I'm gonna shoot him the link to that.
We're gonna
video.
send you a link, brother. Hold on. Hold on. All right, let me share this link with chat. And I bet we're getting close to the commercial.
Who were you talking about, Josh? I didn't hear who you said.
There was a video we looked at last Friday about this place called Port Colborne in Ontario. And there's a mill at Port Colborne, right? So the barges can come in, load up at the mill, and head on out. But the road across the bay from Port Colborne there's a section of the road that points directly at the mill as you're traveling down the road. And as you go towards it, the mill is just huge right there on the horizon across the water. You can just see it. And as you get closer and get closer and get closer to where the road makes a hard left at the water, basically, the mill just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's like a normal size. But when you're at the end of the road, the mill is just gigantic in the distance, just huge. And it's just this crazy optical illusion that has messed with my brain basically ever since.
Actually, I did come across. I saw that early on in my trek a couple years ago, but it came across. I don't know if it was because of they are listening, but it came up in my YouTube short feed, like it was a short. I think it was actually off of Mark Sargent's channel. But yeah, I watched that again this week. And, I mean, do we have more than one source for that? Like have other people put stuff out? Because I would
yes, lots of people.
There's quite a few videos. We actually did it on Google Earth with the Street View feature, and it pretty much did the same fucking thing.
Oh, it did the same thing? Really?
Yeah, dude. It was crazy. Yeah. Because I'm like you. I'm like, I'd have to see more than that. Then we did. We found all kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to find that picture I'm talking about with the guy on the boat, but it's going to take me forever. So you move on if you need to, guys. In fact, what's the time here? Good Lord.
I still haven't checked.
Here in about 30 seconds, we're going to have a little time to be quiet.
Good. One man and his detector. Good morning. So I did see you pop in there. I've just been engrossed in conversation.
Well, that would have been the thing, though, right? If you did the Google Street View, they would have been filming it in real time, right? So you're just getting that effect again in real time, but it's a video archive, right?
It's a video archive, but even the driver of the Google car seemed to be focused in on the mill. Like, even as you went around that hard left at the water, they still sort of kept the camera focused on the mill as the car went around.
Like
it was crazy. He knew to keep focused.
He knew what was, yeah.
Yep. And that is break music, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back for the second half.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song
Forever. Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Who would have thought this could have happened? I'll tell you, here's the story. If it's bad, it'll be front page news in the newspapers. If it's great, they won't even cover it. Now, if it's bad, I say it's fake.
Jen Psaki told me so it must be true.
If it's good, I say, I told you again, I told you. Trump. What the hell is he talking about?
I don't know. Don't laugh. You're no cancer.
We are a laughing stock all over the world. You say election fraud, you get canceled.
The proof that Joe Biden hasn't lost it was that Vladimir Putin said that he's still very sharp.
How about if I take a cognitive test? There's a woman's man, camera TV. But for me, it was easy. Law and order. We want law and order. We demand law and order. We don't want people shot and killed.
Clearly.
Now, if it's bad, I say it's fake.
Jen Psaki told me so it must be true.
If it's good, I say, I told you again, I told you.
You don't need your fully semi-automatic 40-back shot clip, man. Am I right?
In other words, the entire system was rigged.
Yeah.
Every day more people are realizing that we were right.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Crooked Hillary Clinton is the most angry person in the United States.
Yeah.
You know why? She said, why the hell did you do that with me? I could have been somebody.
There's a lot of enthusiasm for Joe Biden. He's the most popular president ever. He's significantly more popular than Barack Obama was in 2008. Am I right? Clearly.
Now, if it's bad, I say it's fake.
Jen Psaki told me so it must be true.
If it's good, I say, I told you again, I told you.
Now listen, if you have not subscribed to YouTube channel, do it right now. Do it today. And all you have to do is click the big red subscribe button.
You must unite what is senseless.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up! Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Inconceivable! And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworx right here on True Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We are joined by our good friend Travis Friendly. You might know him from his channel, The Plain Truth. On YouTube.
Hello, what ho?
Always makes me smile. Nothing like a good horn honk.
So I put in the YouTube chat, and then I put it over here in Skype, Ian's channel, The Missing Curve. He's got a lot of DIY, proof of concept, short vids, and whatnot. He also has a 40-minute presentation that he put together with some of my footage as proof of concept for his explanations. So
that's cool.
You want to check that out?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm getting lost in chat again, trying to play catch up.
And I'm lost in my damn folders. I need to shut them. I'll never find those pictures. They're so buried. I got it. My horrible folder management. Anyway.
But are you saying that you think that it was the air that was creating the obstruction? Was the water really active and swells were high, or what? If you can remember.
I really don't remember there being swells, really. You know, in fact, I think when I went back and saw the picture, I remember because I was trying to make, because at that point, this was like early, dude, when I had no editing equipment. I'm doing all this on like a Tab 4. And I'm trying to figure out how to put these pictures from a camera into the tablet stuff so I can, edit it. And I never could do it till I got a real computer. And so when I started trying to assemble it, and I'm finally looking at these pictures, like, 2 years later, that's when I saw, like, okay, so there's a guy in a boat, and he's halfway gone here, not even a quarter of the way out to this first platform, which is only about a mile out, and this guy's down behind, quote unquote, a curve, in this picture. Is that where the is that where the curve starts? Somebody help me understand this. And it was strictly, like I said, just the fact that between us and that distance, there's so many different things going, atmosphere, lensing, things like that. In fact, in that same place, I remember during the full moon, I mean, during the eclipse that I was trying to film, like I think it was like almost the beginning of the year that year, really cold. There was weirdness going on with the light column on the water surface between me and that moon out there. You know, there was unexplainable weirdness, and I couldn't attribute it to any kind of water swells or anything else. It was just weird things going on. So
yeah, definitely, because I've just found inadequacy in a lot of the research that I've looked into to try to find more answers. The questions I'm answering, or I'm sorry, the questions I'm asking, they don't talk about in their papers. So either they don't know about it, or they're either, I don't know, maybe they could be keeping it from us. You know, maybe they're not saying certain things because then people are going to start noticing aspects of this phenomenon that are going to challenge more than they want us to question. But
exactly, anything that'll point us in a direction that might unravel their bullshit, they're not going to even approach that. You know,
honestly, yeah. So then you imagine then going up against the establishment and saying, "Hey, I've noticed this," and they're like, "Oh shit, we got one who can see. What are we going to do with this one?"
Right.
You know,
suddenly grants get pulled. Suddenly tenure is taken away, and suddenly they shut the fuck up and toe the line. You know.
Well, you know, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but did you know that I had an opportunity to write a popular article that got linked to a mainstream education site on refraction?
I think this sounds really familiar. Yes.
Okay. Well, you want me to repeat it or not?
Yes, please. No, hell yes.
Okay.
Repeat it every chance you get.
Okay. Well, in my research, I came across Georgia State University Hyperphysics, and they have pages on mirage events. And a lot of the information is based on Robert Greenler's work. He was an astrophysicist in the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And so I was eating up that website, just looking over their stuff, looking at my stuff, looking at their stuff. And I came across a glaring mistake. And they had a diagram of the way an inferior mirage makes an object look. And they used raised islands on the water. And then when they showed the mirage, they completely ignored one fundamental, absolutely undeniable. Like this was like a rookie mistake no one should have made if you knew what you were doing. So I emailed the webmaster and I said, hey, I don't know, you know, if you could put me in contact with the person who's responsible, but I've done a lot of research and I'm a hobbyist photographer, blah, blah, blah. I think that there's something that needs to be corrected. Well, the guy pretty much responded right away, and he was the webmaster, and he's like in his 80s. You know, he's old as dirt, PhD, astrophysicist, and so he and I started talking, and we've had 3 different sessions that I put up on my channel. In the second session, he said, you know, if you want to put an article together, I'll link it to the, you know, in this page. I'm like, well, that's cool. And so I put together everything that I wanted to communicate. I wanted to put a very distinguished and distinct claim for people to consider. And it was up for quite a few months. And then a globe troll, I'm sure you all know and love Sean Hawkins, just started to troll and spam their public domains and just slander me as a flat earther. And so the guy who published my paper was talked to by his superior, and not based on anything that I had said in the paper, they took my paper down.
No shit.
So, yeah. So now I'm getting trolled by Sean Hawkins, and he'll be like, "Hey, Travis, where's your paper?" But all of that to say how difficult it is to, present new information to a controlled environment.
Because that's what it is. It's a controlled environment.
So don't imagine it's going to be an easy trek to get this shit out for public consumption. Because I would say honestly, 90% of what I've observed and thought through is in opposition to what's out there. Like every time I read wiki, every time I read articles where they just regurgitate the same stuff that they can't prove and demonstrate, it just infuriates me that this information's out there and people are just not aware, because if you don't go out and make these observations and you read what wiki says, or you read what this homeschooling website says on Mirages, where the homeschooling website is getting their information from wiki, so it's just a copy paste bullshit.
Yep.
But the thing that really I lament over is that even for, like, say a student scientist who might actually get triggered by refraction phenomena and be like, "That's awesome, I really want to research that." There's not even enough out there to get this kid started to, like, okay, here are the steps for you to start understanding what's happening. If you were to look up, either the articles are going to be so generic and empty and vapid on wiki, or they're going to be so complex and trigonometryized on high level papers that he's not going to know what the hell to do. And like that's almost like this back pocket passion of mine, is like to create this how to start your own research in this area. But all of that to just, sorry, I was going off on a rant there, but there's just, the information that's out there is just not strong enough for anybody to really know what they're doing unless they've spent 4 years and just see that their observations really put, I don't know, let's see, just conflict with what they're reading. If they're paying attention, they'll understand, like, these guys don't know what they're talking about, because the stuff I'm seeing, like, they can't explain it. But I rant.
And that's awesome, man. Well, shit, I was going to tell you to give us a link to the story, but so much for that.
Yeah, I mean, I have it on my Google
You have
Drive.
it, though. Yeah.
I have it on my Google Drive. I can always. I'm coming up to my stop right now, so
okay,
I'm
brother.
on mute if you guys want to. I mean, I'll still be here, but I'm going to be on mute because I got to get in and out of my truck and yada.
Right on. I did want to give a quick shout out to Liz, the Iron Maiden. If you check over on Telegram, again, this is my bad. I saw your message. I reached out to Cammie, sent her pictures. And
you did do it. I'm multitasking, trying to make it happen back here, man.
No,
and
I did.
Done it.
And Cammie says it's hard to visually identify him like that. She's used to having more of a scientific sort of that relative density and how things are identified in that regard. I think she said calcite might have been just, sort of off the top of her head, not really being very good at identifying them visually through pictures that way without being able to hold it and look at it and see how light passes through, things like that. There was something a more specific kind. I forget. I did take a screenshot of her response last night before I went to bed. The one thing I did not do was then send it in Telegram to you or respond to your comment, but I did do it this morning before the show. So I am trying. And that is another little comment. Walt and I have both put a few things up on Patreon for those patrons that want to go over there and find some exclusive content. There is actually some there for you. Well, I don't know how exclusive it is at this point, but
Oh, trust me, the one I put up is definitely exclusive. I will,
I
as
could've-
I watch myself stumble around at the end of the video, tripping over cords and cables, I'm like, yeah, that's not going up on YouTube anytime soon. So, hopefully in the near future, I will have a better quality of guitar video up there for you guys. I have an amp now that will allow me to directly go into recording with the computer, whereas going through the Focusrite was doable, but not, everything I had tried up to this point sounded like poop, like just flat nastiness. And Lucas was always like, well, just record it direct. And I would try that, and it would just sound so horrible. So hopefully this will alleviate some of that horrible sound. That's if I can ever get this thing manageable. I see a lot of comments on the amp's complexity. It's a Katana Mark II, and it has this thing in it that's basically about 60 effects that are from Boss built into the inside of the amp, and you can access them in a limited way on the panel itself, but to get the full usability out of it, you have to dive into the computer, hook it to a computer and dive in. And while that's amazingly beyond the old PV Backstage 30 I started out on, it is a little more advanced than I knew I was getting into. So there's definitely a learning curve here. I do notice that there's a lot of effects and sounds I will never have a use for. And I think that leads me to a lot of the comments I'm seeing about the fact that the amp itself is just a great amp, tone-wise, sound-wise, quality-wise, etc. Then you build on that with your own external pedals, which is kind of what I've done anyway in the history of music. That's kind of how you do it. So it even, I think, has an effects loop, so I can make it really work like you should. Anyway, I'm getting all geeky.
Get geeky. James Grounded Extract. Jesus, Grounded Extracts in chat just bought a Katana himself and is loving the Boss effects.
Let me go back and talk to James. I missed that. I am so ignoring chat today. I never do this. I feel so terrible. So he just wanted the octave. See, what sold me, James, is I was at the Guitar Center taking my Explorer in to get it worked on again, and just was like, dude, I'm so burnt out on this old Line 6. It got me to this point. It's great for headphones. It's great for low volumes, but I want something that's going to, grab a hold to some saccular area and really let you know you're rocking. Plus, I've got a bunch of pedals that I used to get some good sounds out of, and I can't with that modeling amp because everything's in there. And he walked over to a Katana, and I'm like, well, wait, I thought this was a modeling amp too. He's like, yeah, it is, but no, you don't understand. He said, it's just a great amp platform pedal for pedals. And then if you get into it, there's all kind of goodies in it. And he turned it on, and the first thing that it did for me was, I believe, the touch wah. And dude, I love a wah that gives guitar that vocal quality. And I like it to be a subtle, not overly waka waka 70s porn wah. I like it to just be right at that edge of shaping it. Kind of Joe Satriani's thing is how he does it. Get some squonks and squeals every now and again, but for the most part, it's just shaping the tone and giving it a very vocal quality. And yeah, it did that like instantly, especially if you did some octaves. Do a few octaves up and down the neck. It was just stunning. And I'm like, oh, well, if that's already in the amp, imagine what I can do plugging my crap into it. And so that's where I'm at, man. Well, we need to get together. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw there, that the 50 watt was definitely louder, but I actually went to Reverb. Shout out to Alex's Music there in Florida. Glad you're safe. And got a really great deal. I don't want to get into all that on the air. We'll talk about it off the air. But yeah, I got a great deal on the 100, dude. And when I say shake the walls, it is Marty McFly time. I've yet to get it in the 100 mode above, like, not even a tenth of the way up. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, definitely reach out. We'll talk about that. Man, I was just talking about you and your lovely extracts the other day with a friend of mine who is quite the kratom consumer, and sent him a link. So hopefully he'll be reaching out and getting some stuff there soon. He was very intrigued by some of the plant alchemy you're doing there, friend, for sure. If you guys aren't familiar, you should be familiar with James. I will drop a link real quick. He'll probably beat me to it. He's pretty damn quick. Oh, I thought that was really the link already. I'm like, no, dude, you didn't really do it that fast, did you? What I'll do is just drop it to the link that comes up for me when I type it in, which is the pain area of his site. But if you go on over to home, because I live with pain quite a bit, and it helps. Boom. James's site right there in the chat. And also in the chat. Oh, wow. That chat's actually not even open. There you go, Sophia. You enjoy that. And shout out to Sophia holding it down there in the TFR chat. Someone is there with you and I, Josh, over on the Rock Den. I don't think it's Andrew B, because I saw he snuck in over there. He's done with that fucking Rock Band bullshit. Ignoring me over there.
It's probably
Andrew, we need to play, man. We talked about it. I see you on, but it never tells me you're in a game. And when I go on it, I'm usually headed into a game on the Discord to go play with Zach or my family or whatever. So if you see me pop up on Discord, shoot me a message and let me know what you're up to, or I'll do the same, and we'll get together and have some time to play. And anyone else. I mean, I'm not just saying only Andrew gets to play. I've had quite a bit of fun playing with some of the amazing people from our chat. Nemo has been quite a steady zombie. Snooze hopped in there, timer 3. We had some time with Effie Nation. Is that correct?
That's
Am I
correct.
remembering that right?
Uh-huh.
And then Chris, man, holding it down. Flatman X, doing it like streaming regular.
We've had Effie Nation call in before.
I thought we had.
We've talked to Effie Nation before.
Yeah,
we played.
I thought we had. Yeah. I only caught like maybe 10 minutes of that time. I was late to it, and then everything was kind of. I think it was the in-game chat. I can't get to work for me. Anyway, yeah, gaming. We don't need to get off on that. Hey, it looks like break time almost.
Is it really already? Holy, well, 2 minutes. Look at that stuff.
Why don't we shut up, I guess, a little bit and
well,
go
might still be doing
into the lettuce pile before we.
There's a tidbit of lettuce. Wasn't a whole lot.
A little bit. There's some old stuff we could kind of clean up that hasn't been mentioned. One of which actually pertains to music, but I don't know that it'll be. Well, 2 minutes might be just enough. So non-lettuce. James and all the other musicians there in chat will find this interesting. Apparently, there's a piece of equipment called the Elk Live. It is a piece of hardware. Why don't I show it to you so you can understand when I say it's a piece of hardware? Booyaka. You see all them connectors to that little yellow box there in the middle of my screen? Shout out, guitar.com. So this is a device that will allegedly get rid of all that latency that we deal with when we're all trying to jam together online across many, many lines, not just state lines, but countries and etc.
So, have you read
this
Sorry,
sir?
I'm just wondering. Maybe I'll just shut up and let you do your thing.
In this review, it states that you definitely need a 10, megabytes, whatever per second, minimal speed. So that does require good internet. But if you have the good internet, this thing will let it happen. He definitely enjoyed the jam he had with his friend who was in another country, not just miles away, but thousands and thousands. But yeah, go check out Elk Live Studios site. I'll link it to you real quick. There it is. I knew that wouldn't take much time. I don't get paid. They're not sending me a free one. Hint, hint, hint.
Does
Elk
it
Live.
only take one? Are they like 250 bucks a piece and everybody has to have one?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody has to have one. I mean, come on, they're trying to make money, Todd. Come on, guys. Come on, man.
I'm just wondering, sorry. Me and my optimistic ways. Don't hear that often.
Don't mistake movement for achievement. Boy, it's easy to get faked out by being busy. The key is not just being busy, the key is doing what? So, we look at results to see if there may be some difficulty with activity, because it takes activity to bring enterprise into being. There's a whole study here on activity. Activity is like birth pains. It ain't easy, but see, it wasn't meant to be easy. Values were meant to be costly. The only way we can appreciate a value is by its cost. If it doesn't cost much, we probably wouldn't call it valuable. True winning is a great worth, but the price is to play with all your heart and mind, and perhaps do some losing sometimes so that when you do win, boy, the worth and the value of the winning now becomes a high appreciation, simply because now we understand both sides of this equation, price and promise.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your light, Ovite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Still, every time. Like 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. I don't know, maybe not quite that long, 4 or 5 years. I'll run with that. Song still makes me happy and makes me move.
Yep.
Bouncing in my
I'm
chair.
boogieing in my seat.
Waking everybody up in the house, clapping around like a damn fool. Welcome back to the Ironworks, fourth and final segment. Kicking off right now. We are still joined by Travis Finley, though he may still be.
Yeah, he may be in his style.
Thank
I saw Andrew B offering to call in, and I asked if he was on Skype to make it easier. But if he's not, we can definitely get the phone lines open. Call back. I have to do it because I have it open, and I felt bad about the whole situation because I was so out of touch. So far, the toll seems to be 12. At this point, confirmed dead there in the Hurricane Ian path. Yeah.
Not what I heard on several news sources
That's what I'm
yesterday.
seeing right here, man. I promise. I've tried to see the hundreds. I'm not seeing that anywhere. It may have been maybe in the islands. Maybe there was more there. Maybe I missed. I'm just trying to close tabs. Is all I'm trying to do. Play catch up. Close tabs.
I don't really listen that closely to the news, so. But I
know I'm
it
so
said
out of
hundreds.
touch, and sometimes that does cause me to lose things like this. As you try to get Liz straight with Cammie, I apologize, Liz. Thank you for that super chat, by the way, lady. I love you.
I'm back.
There he
What's up,
is,
brother? So yeah, your story getting pulled made me just kind of go, let me go check a few things because I had done an interview way back in the day with a lady for a little site, and it kind of read good. When I got through with it, I felt like I had represented my point of view pretty well, and it got put in there that way. So I've dropped that in the chat for y'all to enjoy. You may have seen it already, but just making sure I didn't have to go to the Wayback Machine to find it. It is still out there.
What was the topic?
I should reach out. It was during the time of the 2017. That one, yeah, that big eclipse and the whole what do flat earthers think is going on.
That was my conversion period right there.
Right,
after the
that was
eclipse.
early, baby. That was honeymoon days there for sure. Yep. Absolutely. Shout
What
out.
was funny
I should
about
reach out
that-
to Alexis Kleinman there and see if she want to come get a catch up on what's been going on in the community. Anyway, go ahead, Trav.
Yeah, just what was funny about that was, I was trucking and a Facebook friend during the eclipse posted a meme, what the Earth would look like or what the eclipse would look like if the Earth was flat, right? So they had that square or that rectangle shadow across the moon or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So up to that point, I had no exposure to flat Earth anything really. I mean, not like nothing ever. So that meme was so random that I didn't even take it seriously. You know what I mean? Didn't even take it, And then within a few weeks after that, I was listening to a sermon, and the pastor started talking to his congregation, and he just said offhandedly, "You guys know I'm a geocentrist, and this is one of my, basic explanations for how to understand what, So he goes through a minute-long debunk of the Earth's rotation. At the end of that, like a minute, I was like, holy shit.
Right.
Holy shit. It was so simple. It was so logical. It was so absolutely physically empirical that I was like, fuck, dude, we are not on a globe. I was done. And so then that opened the door for me. And I had never watched YouTube before then. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know, nothing. So man, that whole 2017, era time of the eclipse. And then a couple weeks after that was my turning point.
Well, that eclipse was that was the big one where I'd left Oregon to get out of the madness because they were shutting down the state for it, like it was going to be the end of days or whatever. But like the one that got me and really made me go, "What the fuck?" was the blood death quadrant death blood moon, whatever that was in 2015. Was that late 2015? and it was the full red blood moon, the fifth one of the whatever, according to, it was the end of days coming. But I was just out there trying to understand, okay, so if I'm not on a ball, and that's not a ball, and that's not a ball, then what the fuck is an eclipse? Because I've seen them many times. I really need to dig deep and do what I watched happen out there in my front yard and the telescope I had set up and on the phone and all the things I had. And yeah, that was not a shadow getting in front of another shadow, and there wasn't anything shadowy going on. There was red, and there was weirdness, and there were colors I didn't understand. And at that point, I was kind of just like, okay, I'm about to go on a ride. What the fuck is going on now? Yeah, the sky definitely is the key to me, or it was for sure, between the sun videos I was making and that eclipse. Oh yeah, it was on.
I can't remember if I've talked to you guys about this or not. It's been almost a year now, this late fall. Have I talked to you about the star trails that I took back in November last year?
I don't think so.
Okay. I've got a couple things to talk about if you guys are interested or not. But the first thing I'll mention is I put it in the chat. I put that that meme that I made in the chat. If you want to share it, I'll walk through real quick what I think is a pretty practical explanation for sunlit clouds from apparently below.
Absolutely. I have some theories too. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So driving along, I've got plenty of time to think and look and all this kind of stuff. So if you go out on a cloudy day with nimbus clouds, right, the white puffy ones, you are going to notice different degrees of shadow and just bright white clouds. So if you're at a position where the sun is going to create shadows in the clouds, just simply look around and find the smaller clouds that don't have shadows, right? Look at the small cloud, absolutely brilliant white. Go to a larger cloud, shadow. Why does the one have a shadow? Why does the one not? The one that has a shadow is the shadows in the center, and then the perimeter of the cloud is fully white. So every aspect of the outside exterior of the cloud is all white. That cloud is so thick that the light isn't penetrating the center of the cloud. So if you go to a smaller cloud that's completely white, it's not as dense as the larger clouds, and the white's just going to penetrate the whole thing. The light is going to penetrate the whole thing. You follow me so far?
Yes, sir.
So if you're looking out,
oh yeah.
All right. So if those clouds were able to stay in that position all day long, and the sun is going to move, that shadow is going to move through the cloud. And then when it gets farther and farther not only that, so then different parts of the day, you are going to see clouds that aren't lit on top, but are lit on the bottom, even though the sun's not setting. So you've got bottom lit clouds during the day, and it's all about the angle of the sunlight penetrating the cloud. So when you get to the final part of the day where you've got only the tops of the clouds from your angle in shadow, they're all dark, but the bottom is lit. The sun is so far away, but at that angle, the light is penetrating the cloud. It's not being lit from underneath any more than it is during the middle of the day when you've got the top of the cloud from your angle. You can't see the top. It's dark and shadowed at the top, but then the bottom is lit. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It can't be the sun lighting it from the bottom, because the angle of the sun is not underneath the cloud, but the bottom of the cloud is lit.
Well, that was early on. Those very things you're working through right here were some of the, like, okay, you just have to figure these things out somehow, and you have to use logic, because okay, I can't see something at 6 p.m. here and think it's completely different, because at noon the sun was over me. So right now it's over somebody over there. So whatever's going on right now in the sky over their head has to be, has to work into what I'm seeing over here on my side of it.
Yeah.
It has to work together. It can't be two different realms of shit.
Right, exactly.
Then you start thinking about that whole thing of the light columns on water and how everybody gets their own light column. It's not just a wash of light coming across that fucking water at everybody all at once and creating some kind of weird effect. You get a light column, I get a light column, Josh gets a light column, Liz gets a light column. So maybe there is more of an hey. So maybe there is some individuality to the experiences, and there's that back to the Fraunhofer, and there's back to the shape of the eyeball. And dude, there's so much to this that we can't.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, just
yeah.
think of the work that you do, Trav, and all of the different layers of atmosphere that you're having to look through.
Right. And that shit you see in the distance on those long, flat roads with the shiny pools of water that aren't there and things like that, And
it's not just like layers, because let's go back to the clouds. That's what the air's doing. It's not like clouds are uniform. So like, okay, there's a cloud, there's a cloud, there's a cloud. We know what a cloud's going to look like because it's a cloud, and clouds have a uniform shape.
Not at all.
Not at all. And that's what the air is doing in the atmosphere that Trav is looking through and trying to wrap his brain around. Only you can see it visually in cloud form because of the dust and the moisture that's there. Without that dust and moisture, air is still doing that.
There's so much going on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can remember, was it Rob? It was Rob Scuba, right? With the Fresnel lens. And pulling
on the table, yeah,
on the table and pulling it back and forth and creating that different effect, and it's kind of there you go. That could explain some of what we're seeing.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Listen, this is exactly the area that I talked about before with what Ian's doing now. I did a proof of concept, I think 2 years ago, where I went and bought some reading lenses.
Right, great. That's great.
Okay. Right. So then I printed out an image of a freighter, and I put it on a box and set it out on the floor. And then I set my camera up I think it was about 120 inches away was the final distance that I figured stuff out. But then I put markers out on the floor between my camera and the object. And then I messed with the Fresnel lens, and I could raise the floor up and block the ship so that it looked like the horizon was cutting the ship off. Because that's what I was seeing in a lot of my observations. And so I started talking about proximate looming, that the air was magnifying the proximate surface of the water, raising it up, and all the baller globe flake science warriors were like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Where's your quantification? Blah, blah, blah. What's your mechanism? Blah, blah, blah. Just no one open-minded to think about this stuff, right? So that's what I did. I'm like, well, how can I recreate this? I absolutely recreated it. I used the lens to raise the floor up and block. So what I did was with the markers, I put the markers out so that I raised the marker up to block the ship. So the ship is 120 inches away from me, and the marker is only 10 inches away from me. So that means that there's 110 inches of surface that you can't see. And if there was anything on that surface, you wouldn't see it. You could have 10 ships in front of you. And if the air is magnifying that surface and raising it up, you wouldn't see those ships.
Right.
Absolutely proof of concept. Now, getting that out into the mainstream is another thing.
Absolutely.
But absolutely showed that it, and I'm convinced that that's what's happening. So with Ian's suggestions again, the lensing effect of the aether band. Excuse me, I almost said the bad word. But yeah, it's absolutely reasonable and sensible, logical, and empirical. But I put a link in the chat and also Skype for my by Orion's Belt playlist. So as concise as I can, I was in Southern California for Thanksgiving. I wanted to film the night sky. I had my cameras and I set them up side by side. So I wanted to create my own panorama, right? Because the cameras were going to be stationary filming the star trails. And so I wanted one star trail to bleed into the next camera. And I was just going to like do a panorama, right? Side by side. So I got my tripods. I got my cameras, eyeballed their positions so that they were basically level with each other, straight across, equal height, and same orientation. One camera wasn't cockeyed 30 degrees, and the other one wasn't cockeyed 55. They were both the same degree. I had a tree line that I oriented at the bottom of the frame to overlay, right? Because on the very right of my left camera, I had a tree line that I could overlay with my camera on the right because that tree line was on the left. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So when I went to line up the tree line the next day after I filmed at night, the tree line matched, but you know what the fuck was off? The sky. The sky didn't match. And it wasn't like I had zoomed in like, oh, what's your focal length? No. That would have just simply made the view closer or farther away. It wouldn't have fucked with the degree. These were like 20, 25 degrees off. Like shooting off in a completely different direction.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
So I was like, what the hell did I do wrong? Right. I'm like, I'm not that dumb. Right. I didn't. So the next night did the same thing. Okay. This one's this one's this. There's that tree. There's that tree. Click, click, wait. Nothing matched. Again, nothing matched. And these cameras are side by side. So that playlist will show you my other thing.
Chat, right? Yeah. I see it.
So the playlist has a few different things from other star trails, but my by Orion's Belt is the series. Now, what another thing, dude, was that Orion's Belt is the celestial equator. Orion rides the celestial equator. It is a linear motion through the sky because above Orion is the northern rotation. Below Orion is the southern rotation, where you're going to get rotation. But Orion doesn't rotate. It moves straight across. So I had a lot to think about, still thinking about it, because when you watch the night sky with your naked eye, it moves in uniform. You don't see any, it doesn't diverge.
Right.
So the only way that you're going to know that the sky is diverging is if you map it yourself, because the stars are going to eventually be at a higher position because they move away from each other like gears. And, or if you have a star trail, right? If you can film it in star trail, because it's obvious that they diverge.
Phones, cameras have come a long way in the last few years. Since I was trying to do all this crazy shit on a Tab 4, the cameras have gotten really nuts. I had an app, I don't know the name because I took it off. It was taking up a lot of space and I needed some more, but I'll find it and I'll let you guys know what it was. But it would help you do star trails on your phone. It would set it up. It would do the automated picture, not like a video star trail thing, but where you would be doing the long exposure pictures. And then in that same app, it would put them together for you and create the star trails for you. And it was very heavy duty. It was a huge app. I'll have to find it and let you guys know. Definitely. Because, I mean, seeing these things for yourself, looking and playing with it yourself is definitely a huge way to show other people, like, hey, look at this. Isn't this a little strange? Speaking of, before we get too close and we're almost out of here, I noticed in chat, Sherry throwing this at us. Sherry, let me go make sure I'm not reading it wrong because the damn The damn chat keeps scrolling every time I stop and read somebody's comment. It was Sherry, right? Damn it. Yes, it was Sherry. Saying she noticed all the clouds having flat bottoms. Michelle actually pointed that out to me one day. So, hey, deal with that. Y'all have an idea what that's about? I'm like, that's one that has been mentioned by many people and really haven't gotten really a great answer on that one yet. Any theories, good sir? I mean, you can see a columnus cloud going up miles, but the bottom's going to be flat every time. And in the distance, as you see them going in the distance, they're fucking flat all the way across.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it has to be an energy. Honestly, I think
it's got to be.
Yeah, a charge. Like I said, with these aqua bands as well, they have different textures, different colors. If there's a vibe out there, if there's an energy out there that, it's like cymatics, right? Cymatics can create a pattern. If there's an energy out there that's disturbing the surface of the water, I don't see why there can't be something in the sky that's going to be almost like a barrier for the clouds where they flatten out. Sure.
It's almost as though, I mean, I can accept sort of their explanation, I think. Air pressure, there's differences in air pressure. There's just more pressure lower, and as you go up, you have less air pressure. And that's what you'd expect, sort of, as pressure gets to be less, things would sort of go out. But that baseline, as that cloud gets there, that's just the cloud. And, that it hits that pressure and just levels out. And that energy is going upwards. So I think that's the way it works. But if you look and can get level enough, you can look at the bottom of clouds and see that the flatness of each cloud still represents the flatness of the earth beneath it.
Yep.
But I still think there's something about the formation of clouds.
From both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all.
Shout out to Joni Mitchell.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that her? Wasn't it the clown lady, Judy? Wasn't that Judy?
No, Judy Collins. Judy Collins covered it, but it was.
Did she? Okay. It was Joni. Okay.
Joni Mitchell.
It's been too long ago. I can't believe I pulled that out of my ass.
Yeah. I bought Joni Mitchell's Blue album for my daughter, because Joni was the Taylor Swift-ish age, back in the 70s.
Right, of that area.
You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So, because my daughter is a big Taylor Swift fan, so I'm like, this was the Taylor Swift of the 70s. Like, check her out. She didn't like the music at all, but I'm hoping that she'll keep the CD and someday she'll listen to it again, because Blue is an amazing album by Joni Mitchell.
Epic.
Shout out to Joni Mitchell.
We're almost.
Shout out to Johnny Cool for finally coming in and catching us live.
What's up, Johnny?
Maybe just a little on the backside of the show, but
hey, you got to be here.
That's right.
All right, so thank you for hanging out with us, Travis.
Yeah.
Thanks, sweetie. Come on.
Hope Zach and the Nodells and everybody there, the crew, are doing well.
Okay up there.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hang out this afternoon, we're going to have David M. come over there. We're going to be talking about quite a few things, most likely parasites and how they play into some of these things that go bump in the night. What else? Oh, tomorrow night, Saturday night, High Magic over there on James True's channel. I'll be hanging out with James and the gang there. What else?
The James gang.
The James gang. Right. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. What you got going on, sir? Anything interesting coming up, Travis?
No, nothing crazy yet.
All righty. Well, folks, Andrew, thank you for being patient. We're going to get you in here probably Tuesday morning, sir. You can hop in as early as you would like to. We got carried away in the clouds. You know how they are. Come on, baby. Say bye to everybody. Say bye to everybody. Here, let me get you on the camera saying bye.
And she's going to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally.
Sweetie. Mr. Sweetie. Mr. Sweetie.
That'd be
There you
headbutt
go.
a microphone.
Oh, well. That was it. You got a headbutt.
Yeah, I've got a bunny out in the kitchen wondering why the hell she's being neglected. You keep walking out and you keep walking back in and you don't even pet me. What kind of bullshit is this? So I guess
Love
I
you
better
guys.
go literally pet the bunny. And make sure you guys come back this afternoon. And we'll hang out a little bit with David M. Otherwise, we'll be back here Tuesday morning, bright and early, kicking off at 4 a.m. Central till 6 a.m. You guys have a great weekend. Be good. Be well. We love you. Bye-bye.